Your SUV's engine is its backbone, and what if that backbone isn't as strong as you thought? The result is often a string of expensive repairs, a never-ending loop of trips to the mechanic, and the frustration of a car that doesn't always work. So how would you avoid all this hassle? By having a know-how of SUVs with the worst engines, and are likely to bid farewell too soon. In this video, we will share 7 SUVs with engines that might just make you cringe. So stick around until the end so you can remove these from your shopping list. Number 7. Range Rover Supercharged 5.0. First, let's talk about the Range Rover L320, the model produced from 2012 to 2014 with a supercharged V8. It's essential to be aware of the issues associated with these SUV engines, as they can have serious consequences. One of the most pressing concerns is its trouble with the timing chain and its tension. When these components go awry, it can spell disaster for the engine, leading to hefty repair bills that can quickly run into the thousands. The potential engine failure is a serious matter that could leave you stranded and facing substantial expenses. Then there's the oil leakage problem. It's not just about creating a mess. Persistent oil leaks can harm vital engine components, resulting in decreased performance and long-term reliability issues. This isn't just something to take lightly. The EGR system is another trouble spot for this SUV. When it fails, you're not just looking at reduced engine efficiency, but also increased emissions, potentially leading to failed emissions tests and more expenses down the road. Now let's get serious about electrical cooling fan failure. When that fan quits, the engine can overheat rapidly, and that's a recipe for disaster. It could mean costly engine repairs and a stranded vehicle. Transmission mount failure may not seem as dire, but it can lead to uncomfortable vibrations and noise, affecting your overall driving experience and potentially causing additional issues over time. Water pump failure is yet another headache. A malfunctioning water pump can result in engine overheating, which, if left unattended, could damage the engine or even lead to failure. Repairing a failed water pump is costly and can leave you without a ride for quite a while. And what else is remaining? Issues with the timing chain, transfer box, and transfer case front seal can pile on the reliability concerns, potentially causing more expensive repairs and decreasing the SUV's resale value. Number 6. 2023 Ford Explorer. The Ford Explorer equipped with a 3.0-liter EcoBoost V6 engine is the worst on our list. While this SUV has its strengths, it's also been marred by some concerning issues that warrant your attention. One major problem that has raised eyebrows among owners is its tendency for the Explorer to stall and break down, sometimes repeatedly during ownership. Now, that's not what you expect from a vehicle you rely on day in and day out. The root cause of these frustrating stalls often traces back to a seemingly innocent oil leak. Often, this leak isn't as harmless as it may appear. In fact, it's so concerning that it led to a recall. Why, you ask? Well, this tiny leak can escalate into potentially dangerous situations. The combination of excessive heat under the hood and the presence of combustible materials can lead to an engine compartment fire. Yes, a fire. Needless to say, that's a safety hazard you'd want to avoid at all costs. Number 5. BMW X3. The BMW X3, like many other BMWs, has an impulse to leak oil. This is typically caused by a leaking valve cover gasket, or even worse, a cracked valve cover. The problem usually occurs over time because engines are always worn down. The troublemakers here are often the valve cover gaskets, which over time can become as trustworthy as a leaky faucet. They wear down from the grind of daily use, allowing oil to slip through the cracks and create a slippery mess on the engine's exterior. Typically made of plastic in most BMW engines, the valve cover faces a relentless onslaught of heat and stress. Over the years, this unyielding exposure can lead to cracks forming in the valve cover, allowing oil to escape into the engine bay. Number 4. GMC Terrain. This SUV has been cruising the road since 2010, and when it first hit the scene, it seemed like a decent choice among smaller SUVs. But as they say, the proof is in the pudding, or in this case, under the hood. Now here's where things get a bit tricky. According to a chorus of reports from Terrain owners, a laundry list of engine issues seems to pop up without warning. We're talking about troubles like excessive oil consumption, random stalling, lackluster engine power, and severe engine damage in some unfortunate cases. And here's the kicker. These problems can rear their heads as early as 52,000 miles into your journey, or just when you thought you were in the clear at around 108,000 miles. One specific problem that keeps coming up is excessive oil consumption. It doesn't discriminate by model year, affecting both older and newer Terrains. This problem became such a concern that a class action lawsuit was filed in 2019 to address it. For some drivers, these issues have become more than just an inconvenience. Some have experienced sudden stalling, jerky movements, unpredictable engine behavior, and in the worst cases, a complete shutdown of the vehicle. Number 3. Subaru Forester. Subaru is a cherished company with a long history of delivering reliable automobiles, and the Forester continues that tradition. Still, many engine issues have been reported that are making it fall on this list. Regarding engine troubles in the Forester, one frequent complaint centers around the oxygen sensor. A crack in this sensor often triggers a check engine light, leading to a sensor failure. In some cases, Subaru even issued recalls during this problem. Another concern arises from issues in its catalytic converter's efficiency, which can also prompt the check engine light to illuminate. This problem isn't just a minor inconvenience, it can also cause the Forester to fail a smog test. So if you live in an area that requires these tests, this is something to keep in mind. Then there's the NOx sensor, which can sometimes malfunction. Interestingly, this issue doesn't always appear when the sensor is tested, even if your check engine light has turned on. Fortunately, this hasn't been a significant problem in Forester models after 2010. For older Foresters, particularly those made between 1999 and 2013, oil leaks are a different issue to contend with. These crop up once your Forester is clocked in around 110,000 miles. The fix may involve replacing tube seals, cover gaskets, spark plugs, coils, or ignition wires. Number 2. Kia Sorento. Kia Sorento is also high up with commonly reported engine problems, particularly for models produced from 2011 to 2017. During this period, the Sorento faced a recurring issue, notably a faulty head gasket. This problematic component led to a troublesome mix of antifreeze and coolant with the engine oil, resulting in significant damage to the engine. Most drivers encountered this issue around 55,000 to 77,000 miles on their odometers, although some unfortunate individuals experienced it even later in their Sorento's lifespan. The financial burden accompanying this problem was not insignificant, with drivers having to shell out between $4,600 and $6,500 to resolve this issue. However, if you're considering a Kia Sorento from the model year later than 2017, you can likely breathe a sigh of relief regarding these engine woes. Kia has likely addressed and rectified this issue in newer models. On the other hand, if you're eyeing an older used Sorento, it's essential to remain vigilant regarding the engine. Regularly checking and, if necessary, replacing the head gasket is a smart move to ensure your Sorento's engine stays in good shape. Number 1. Hyundai Santa Fe. In number 1, we have the 2017 Hyundai Santa Fe with a lot of repeated engine issues reported worldwide. Reports from Santa Fe drivers have brought up a range of engine woes, including the unnerving experience of stalling, engine failure, and bothersome oil leaks. These issues aren't just frustrating, they can also be pretty heavy on the wallet when it's time for repairs. One common headache is excessive oil consumption. It's like your Santa Fe has an unquenchable thirst for oil, and if you don't address it in time, it could lead to engine failure. Nobody wants to be stuck with that bill, but that's not all. Some drivers have even discovered metal shavings swimming around in their engine oil, which is never a good sign. Others have reported a loss of transmission power when making turns, a potentially dangerous situation. And to add to the mix, there's a recall for a faulty ABS module, which is an important part of your vehicle's safety system. It's a safety concern that can't be taken lightly. Now let's fast forward to the 2019 Hyundai Santa Fe. Even in its later iteration, it hasn't completely shaken off engine issues. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration received 55 complaints about the 2019 model, with 16 pointing straight to the engine problems. Most of these complaints popped up within a year of the model's launch. Issues ranged from engine stalling while driving, the dreaded check engine light coming on, and an unsettling knocking noise from under the hood. So regarding the Hyundai Santa Fe engine, it's essential to be aware of these potential hiccups. While some owners have had positive experiences, the engine problems reported by others have been a costly and frustrating journey. Ensure you're fully informed before deciding to plunge into Santa Fe ownership. Do any of these SUV challenges sound familiar, parked in your garage, or perhaps on your wish list? It might be time for a change. Check out our channel for a list of reliable, pocket-friendly SUVs to give your ride a fresh lease on life. See ya!